Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. So to anyone who doesn't know, Fall Guys released an update on September 16th called the Slime Factory Update, and it is quite the controversial one. Whether it's for the lack of content in general, or the fact that it's setting up for the possible shutdown of the game in 2027, everyone is currently either scared for the future, or has quit the game altogether. That is why today's video is going to be quite different, because we will be discussing what happened in the update, why everyone is absolutely terrified and believing in the shutdown, and what all of my thoughts are on this. Anyways, without any further delays, let's get on with the video. First, let's begin with the thing that started all of this, the Slime Factory update, which is getting a lot of hate currently due to having barely any content in it. But let's start with the positives. Right off the bat, the best part of the update is the fact that almost every SS2 variant is back in the core modes and that Treat Thieves is confirmed to return for all of October. Any unvaults are great, and while I wish Treat Thieves had also gotten added to customs, both of these are still absolute wins, especially the SS2 variations. Next, we have two mastery rank cycles. The first being Squad Spectacular Ranked, which is going on right now, and the second is Fall Ball Cup Ranked, which starts in November. Well, that second one is a questionable choice. The fact that we're getting consistent mastery cycles is really good, especially with the fact that from the looks of it, we'll also have a monthly LTM, which hey, the more stuff the better. Third, they added new crown ranks, and while the pick for the final costume is a bit questionable, and I think Mediatonic is trolling me on purpose at this point, I appreciate the fact that these costumes are indeed gold, and that we're going to be given more stuff to grind for. Lastly, the actual Slime Factory Fame Pass is really good. Like, a lot better than the usual passes. I swear, it's always the Halloween passes that Mediatonic cooks on specifically. But yeah, those are all the positives of this update. While all these things are really good, the problem is that they're the only things this update has going for it. Now here's where the negative comes in, with the elephant in the room being that we got no new theme, no new 3D lobby background, and no new levels for the first time since the November 24 update. Furthermore, this is also the first update since the June 24 update to not add a single new feature to Creative, not even the usual decorations and stickers. The main problem with the update is that, besides the Fame Pass, the only content we got this update is returning stuff. Heck, even the upcoming Halloween live event, while giving out cool rewards, is reusing assets from previous Halloween events as promotional artwork. Now, all this stuff alone just makes this an overall mid-update. So you're probably wondering, why is everyone overreacting about the game shutting down then? Which is what we shall get into right now. The main thing people are worried about with this update isn't the actual content of it, but what it's set up for the future. With usual updates, Mediatonic adds cosmetics an update or two ahead, which tells us what the next theme will be. And while they did do this again, they added way more cosmetics than usual. In this update alone, we have cosmetics for Christmas this year. Okay, that's normal. And then you see there's cosmetics for Valentine's Day, Halloween, and possibly Christmas next year, a 6th anniversary banner when the 5th anniversary just happened, and a few other things all laid out ahead of time for 2026. Furthermore, the entire schedule of limited time games releasing this update has already been set, which is not normal for these updates. However, then we get to the truly bad part that made everyone theorize that we won't be getting any new themes or levels for a while, because we learned that Mediatonic set up monthly 3D lobby backgrounds that will go up until January 1st, 2027, and every single one of these backgrounds are ones that already exist, with the Valentine's Day one you see in this image apparently just being the above the clouds background. All of this combined with the apparent monthly schedule of mastery cycles and random LTM swapping has led to people worrying that the game is gonna go on autopilot until 2027, or who knows what's gonna happen then. Things somehow got even worse when the official Fall Guys Twitter account posted the following tweet in response to all of the speculation. Beans. We've seen the chatter around what's to come next for Fall Guys, and here's what to expect going forward. New rank cycles every 8 weeks, the return of vaulted levels, limited time modes plus live events to shake the party up, and new fame passes. See you in the Blunderdome. In a nutshell, Mediatonic just told us what we already knew and only amplified the theories about the game going on autopilot. Lastly, all of these things seem to be lining up perfectly to give us a reason as to why Joe Walsh, the co-creator of Fall Guys that's been here since day one, left Mediatonic a few days after the Tropical Tides update began. So, with all this information, what specifically is the community thinking and what are my thoughts? Well, there are 4 possibilities that Beans are discussing on what could happen, and I also have a personal theory of mine that while high on copium could also be something that happens. So now, let's get to talking about them. The first possibility is that the Slime Factory update was just a one-time thing, the 3D lobby backgrounds are just placeholders, the official Fall Guys Twitter account absolutely fumbled in communication, that our next update on November 11th will actually give us content, everything will continue to go as normal, and will all be fine. This one's pretty logical, as we know Fall Guys has gone through multiple content droughts in the past, and maybe Mediatonic just needs more time to cook on the next update. The second possibility is that, yes, the game is stuck on autopilot for the rest of time, only ever getting new cosmetics and things mentioned in the tweet with no new gameplay changes. While this theory is a logical one, why would Epic just let the game rot in eternity for the rest of time? It still averages millions of players on many different platforms, so not giving it new content at all would be a strange decision. The next possibility here is where, yes, the game does indeed shut down in 2027 unfortunately, but ends up being completely ported over to Fortnite. While there is some evidence to this with there being multiple leaks that Rocket League will get fully ported into Fortnite, after the catastrophic failures that were UEFN, Fall Guys, and Rocket Racing, I doubt Epic would want to commit to this. For the last possibility, it is like the last one where the game shuts down, except the game doesn't get ported into Fortnite so we get no Fall Guys at all. Now it's time for my high on copium theory that is somewhat logical. I'll either be pinpoint accurate on what Epic Games and Mediatonic's plan is, or I'll be horribly off and I'll look like a complete idiot. Before that though, I want to talk about the shutdown theory. While it is plausible, a question I have that I'm surprised nobody has thought of yet is that, if this is true, why would they not just shut it down now? It costs money to keep the game's servers up and to make all these cosmetics, and furthermore, Fall Guys still averages millions of players monthly like we stated earlier. Don't let the internet fool you. While Fall Guys isn't mainstream, it is still extremely popular on almost every platform it's on, with the only exception being Steam, which all 500 people average playing there have been playing for 3 to 5 years, which is impressive. For real now, my high on copium theory for the future of Fall Guys is that yes, the game will go on autopilot until January 1st, 2027, and yes, the game will shut down then, but Fall Guys really relaunched as a new game made in Unreal Engine 5, and the reason it's taking so long is because it'll have a brand new art style and all the classic and creative maps are being remade, and the reason so many devs are being laid off and are leaving is because they're planning on hiring brand new devs that are actually experienced with Unreal Engine 5, and because the original Fall Guys was made in Unity. There, I said it. Now, all of this sounds absolutely insane, which it does, but I believe that the more you think about it, the more it starts to make sense. This change would allow Epic Games to help with the development of the game more, as they are not only ones who created Unreal Engine 5, but Fortnite is also currently using that launcher, with Rocket League being in Unreal Engine 3. Speaking of that game, Rocket League was also announced to have an Unreal Engine 5 version in development. Sure, this was back in 2021, but maybe Epic's plan is to simultaneously launch these versions for both Rocket League and Fall Guys around the same time. Lastly, notice how whenever we get long content droughts for Fall Guys, it's because the devs are working on something that takes years of planning, preparation, and execution. Legacy Season 6 was almost 7 months long with barely any content. What came out in June 2022? Season 1 Free-For-All, which made the game free, brought it to Switch and Xbox, and added tons of content. Then, Season 3 was delayed from February 2023 to May of the same year and had almost zero content during that time. What came out in May 2023? Season 4, which added creative and tons of content every week. Then, similar things happened with mobile and ranked as we know, and this Unreal Engine 5 remake is the next one, which makes sense to be taking over a year since it's recreating the game from the ground up. The only thing I think doesn't add up with all this is Joe having left the company and working on Fall Guys altogether, but maybe he was just tired of working on the same game for over 5 years. That exactly we don't know. Little updates. So a few days after I'd completely finished scripting this video and recorded the majority of it, I was scrolling through Twitter and found this tweet that I'm showing on screen right now, showcasing a very similar theory I have right now, and with even more evidence to prove it that I didn't mention here. I somehow had no clue that Unreal Engine 6 was coming out in 2027 or 2028. So if all of this information shown in the tweet is true, that's just even more evidence that Fall Guys is getting an Unreal Engine relaunch, whether it's an Unreal Engine 5 or Unreal Engine 6. Anyways, back to the main video, you know? Well, that's all I really have to say for this update. Would like to give you all a friendly reminder that a majority of this video is just speculation, as nothing on what is going on behind the scenes has been confirmed by the official Fall Guys team. That being said, I'd say the next update coming up in November will likely tell us what the future for this game is, depending on what kind of content is added. Don't worry guys, I will still be here making content for this bean game as long as I can, as for some reason, I still do enjoy playing it. Even if the end of Fall Guys is just beyond the horizon, I'd say having an over 6-year run is still impressive. Welp, that's the end of the video guys. Subscribe if you enjoyed, don't subscribe if you didn't, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.
Ooh.